guys, it's Monday, November. This is the week of Thanksgiving, and I looked on Marketplace the other night, and it's already dark, and I was already sitting in my chair. And usually once I get in my chair, you know, I'm out. But I was looking on Marketplace, and these two mowers popped up. Now the guy said it needed very minor work on both of them to get them running and mowing. Like I think the silver one actually runs, he said, but the deck was jacked up, which I got a deck. I got a deck back there, if that's true. And he said the red one needed a starter, but it would run. And I think I got a starter on that too. So I don't know if I got anything here, but what I do have, the worst case is I got parts. A lot of good parts, you know, that I could use. He claimed this one had a new carburetor. That don't look too new to me. Maybe a year ago new. But anyway, whatever the case is, I'm grateful to have them. I'm going to just mess with them upcoming. Anyway, I'm going to clean these two up before I even think about working on them. That's pretty much the way I do it, is clean them up good. Really so isn't that bad on the red one. I mean, it needs cleaning up, but there's not a whole lot of oil here, so that's good. No oil leaks. Now this one, gosh, that might be a parts mower. It's got a lot of oil up here. I don't know what that's all about, that string, that wire. It's holding spark plug wire. Maybe it was laying up against the muffler. Look at that right there, it's about to burn. Anyway, it's just nasty and I don't want it all in my shop. It's just easier to work on when it's clean. So I'm gonna spray them both off, let them dry, then I'll, not saying I'm working on them today, but I'm just getting them ready to work on. So here I decided to go ahead and put a good battery on, and it started. You know, this guy said he had a new carburetor, but it needed a starter, and I think it was opposite. You know, the starter worked fine, but it probably will need a carburetor. Those Nicky carburetors, I don't know if it's new or not, but I guess it is. It's that Nicky carburetor. And you remember I said in another video, it's where the screw holes are, the little screws on that. Well, these are notorious for leaking gas into the engine block. Well, that's why it was smoking so much, because when I just dumped some out and it was all gas in there, gas and oil. So that's why it was smoking. So I'm gonna take a chance with a quart and a half of oil. I've drained it out. And I'm gonna put a quart and a half of oil in it. Now it'll still smoke because it's in the muffler and all that, but it shouldn't smoke long. And if the carburetor had been fixed like he said, because it ran, so the carburetor is not in too bad a shape. We might got lucky and just have to get the gas out of it. And see, a lot of people don't know that on these carburetors. He might have fixed the carburetor, but he never drain the gas out of the engine. Like I say, this is notorious for that. Now the only concern I have, and I'm only going to waste a quart and a half of oil on it, is if it's still leaking. So I don't know if he's got that fixed or not. But because it did start easy and run, the carburetor seems to have been worked on, and so I'm figuring to put some. So I drained the gas out of the engine. I hadn't even touched the carburetor. And I drained it out of the fuel filter. And we're gonna see what it does. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe to my channel. So I told you I wasn't going to do anything, and I didn't. that. So it's still smoking, but remember it had gas in the engine block because the carburetor was leaking. So the question is, did I fix that? You know, it probably still needs a carburetor. You know, it set it overnight, it could still leak. So, but the engine sounds good, everything, it mows. I didn't show you mowing, but it mows like it should with no problems. Good power and all that. So, you know, for 20 bucks, I might just order a carburetor, put it on there and probably be done with it. So I can use it this spring. Leaking gas like a sieve. So anyway, I'm gonna be ordering a carburetor this afternoon when I get inside. Look at it, see, I put too much gas in it. Can you see it? So it goes back to that carburetor now. So I wasted 1.5 quarts of oil, but it ran, so I'm good. So anyway, when the carburetor comes in, we'll swap it out. I bet that's all it's gonna need. All right, guys, it's here. That's the package. Here it is. So this is what I want you to know about this kind of carburetor. When I say this kind of carburetor, it's a Nicky carburetor, but it's got the screws here. The bowl looks like this. It's got 2 screws on it. Some have 4, I think. But these are the ones that's notorious for leaking into the engine block, just like that one did. I've replaced 4, 5, 6, 10 of these. And these cheap, I mean, this is like $13 off Amazon. And I never had a problem with those. So that's what we're putting on. That's what the fix is. That was a free mower. I mean, if this one leaked, then I'd just send it back. But anyway, that's what we're going to put on there, and that's what the fix is going to be. And I guarantee you it probably won't leak because I always have good success out of these. So let's go see what it's going to take to get it on. Because I feel like it's a fairly basic job taking the carburetor off and putting the new one on. I'm going to go time lapse on it, but I will show it. The key to taking any carburetor off and putting it back on is once you get to the carburetor, I'm going to take the cover off, but once you get down to the carburetor, take a couple still pictures with your phone so you'll know how the linkage hooks up, because I always get confused on which way it is, and so that's what I do. So anyway, so here it goes. So it's on there. That's what it looks like. You know, it takes me longer to get my tools together than anything else. But anyway, what I'm gonna do now, and I take my time with this, is, you know, all you saw in the last clip or a couple of clips ago, all the gas leaked out of here. And so I'm just gonna make sure, I'm gonna fill it up with gas, or maybe not fill it all the way up, but I'm gonna fill it with gas, make sure it don't leak, you know, before I go putting everything back on. Plus, I probably didn't have to take that cover off. I think I could have done it without it, maybe. Maybe not. But anyway, you always need to check everything underneath, mainly for mouse nest. I mean, they're very common in these. And I'm gonna clean that out before I finish. So I'm gonna fill it with gas, give it 5 minutes, and then if it does not leak, I'm gonna put everything back on and see what happens. So also what I'm gonna do, and I'll show this to you, get a little zoom in here. It's from the, I already changed the oil once, and that was my biggest problem. Make sure it's in the video here. Yeah. Is this just shows you when it comes out like that, that's gas. Oil doesn't flow that easily, so you got gas and oil mixed in because of the carburetor from before. And I'll take the oil filter off and get get that out. All right, I got it all buttoned up. So now I'm going to start her up. Now remember, I anticipate smoke on the front end because there's still gas left in there, but it should run good. Hardly any smoke. Okay, so I left it running. It did start off smoking, you know, like it was for probably 5 or 7 minutes. I just drove it around the yard and I parked it, and I took it up because I had gas and oil all over the engine, so I sprayed it off with a water hose, letting it dry now, but I figure I'm just going to let it run for a little bit and make sure it's not going to give me any problems. I mean, it's not grass mowing season, it's after Thanksgiving, almost December. So anyway, but that's what happened. So the moral of the story is, on those Nicky carbs, they leak into the engine. And I know I got gas still in the engine, but I'm just gonna let it burn out naturally. And that's it. I mean, that was a free mower. The guy thought it didn't run. He was just, well, he sold his house moving, so he had to get going. Things I'm coming up on, I've actually slowed down looking on Marketplace buying stuff because there's a ton of things to buy right now because it's winter time, but I'm running out of room. So, and I probably won't sell these till spring, and that'll give me a good test out run on it to make sure they're good. But anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to my channel. All right, I'm out.